Hi, my name's Avery and I love books, and here's my review for Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. Hi there everyone! So today I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. This video will have two separate parts to it. There will be a spoiler-free section in the beginning, and then I will get into all of my spoilery, lovely thoughts about this book later on. So my non-spoilery section is going to be very, very short because this is the 7th book. I don't know to call it a novella anymore or just a 7th book because I honestly don't know what people are calling it now. Is it the 7th book or is it just a novella? Like, is the next Throne of Glass book the 7th book? Because what do we even call the Assassin's Blade? Like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it the 7th book. I don't care. Okay, here we go. Okay, so basically this is gonna be a non-spoilery section if you have read up to Empire of Storms. If you have not read up to Empire of Storms and have not read The Assassin's Blade either, because you need to read that, well, you needed to have read that for Queen of Shadows up until now, but if you still have not read that book, don't watch this either. So this is a non-spoilery section for people who have read all the way up to Empire of Storms. So basically in this book, it's basically Chaol's story along with Nezrin as they go down to the southern continent to try and rally up troops to help Aelin and to also try and maybe heal Chaol. So this book, we get introduced to a new continent and new people and amazing new characters that I actually really enjoyed. Some of them didn't really enjoy. Some of them I was like, I don't really care about you, but okay. We get introduced to, I don't know, a new culture that I really enjoyed reading about. If you didn't already know, because I bet everyone probably knows, we meet up with one of the characters from The Assassin's Blade in this book, and I loved her. I love her. I love her. I love her, by the way. I really do. Love her. She's probably one of my new favorite characters. But that's mostly all that I can say. I can tell you that I gave this book a 4.75 to 5 stars. Like, it's in between that range. Like, it's not like a full 5 stars yet, but it's really, really close. It's really close. Just because there were parts in this book that I didn't think were all that necessary, that we needed. I think it's too long in my opinion. Yeah. So if you have not read this book, please go away and I will be getting into my spoilery thoughts. Okay, bye. Whew. Okay. Okay, here we go. So let me just tell you that this book threw me for a loop. I believe I read it 3 or 4 days. I was really, really hesitant going into this book because I used to be like a big team Chaol person. Like, I wanted him and Selena to be together all the time. But then Rowan showed up and I'm totally team Rowan. Like, I was like, bye Chaol, bye. I didn't care. And then Chaol turned into a giant dick and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what happened to you? I know it's because of all of the heartache that he's experienced and all of the troubles that he's faced, and we certainly get a flashback into all of those in this book. I kind of started to not like him because he was bashing on Aelin in Queen of Shadows, and I was like, why? And I wasn't really happy about that. But after this book, I can fully say I'm back on loving Chaol again. Not Team Chaol, because as we can see, that's not existent anymore. Both of them are married. Let me just say, that ending with them on the boat, it said something like Chaol put his hands on Irene's stomach and I was like, holy shit, is she pregnant? And then they said 5 seconds later, it said they were wearing matching rings. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I need wedding scenes. Sarah J Maas, just put a wedding scene in your book, please. I love wedding scenes and I need them. And in all of her books, we get told that there was a wedding, but there was no wedding scene. I need a wedding scene. I've watched some other people's reviews on this book already, and some of them were all like, I don't know why Irene and Chaol got married and la 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 la, I don't understand, and they weren't really happy about it. I'm like, you know what? They make each other happy And yeah, they may have not known each other for that long of a period of time, but like they make each other happy and they're basically linked together, so why not get married? And they love each other, so why not get married? Who cares for how long they knew each other? Like, there are plenty of people out there who got married on a whim and still love each other and are together. Just because you haven't known each other for a long period of time does not mean that the love isn't real, you know what I mean? I don't know, I really enjoyed them as a couple, I have to say. I did get so frustrated though. I say in almost all of Sarah J Maas's books, we have this anticipation for this couple to finally get together. Like any couple, like they don't have their first kiss until page 500. 500 out of 76? Basically 700. Why, Sarah? Why so long? I was waiting so long for a kiss. I'm a total romance freak and I needed that kiss. I needed it and when it finally happened, oh my god. It was worth it. It was really worth it. The kiss scene was amazing and I love that scene, by the way. My heart was breaking at that scene. If y'all don't remember, it's where like Irene and Kale are in Kale's suite and like they start having a fight and then he says some things that he shouldn't have and then it finally like strikes her in the heart and he's like, oh shit, I took it way too far. She's never gonna look at me ever again. Like I lost her like all the other people that I lost and this isn't worth it. Like he was so mad at himself and then he's like telling Irene, he's literally saying like, please, 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 practically begging her to forgive him. Like he's like, I wasn't saying those things about you, it was all about me, I was saying them about myself. And like then like he finally realizes that she's not actually mad at him and then we realize that she knew all the time that he didn't really mean it. And I was like, oh, you bitch, you had us thinking that you hated him. But it's okay, because they're together now and it's fine. While we're on the topic of Kale and Irene, I really, really enjoy their relationship, if you did not tell. Through their connection, we both got that glimpse into how they both healed mentally, as well as Kale physically. But both of them healed mentally through, I guess, being with each other and getting those glimpses into each other's pasts. And I don't know, they kind of like healed each other's broken hearts together. And that was beautiful and I really, really appreciated that. And like I could just tell, oh, he really, really, really loves her. In my opinion, he's never loved Nezrin. Like he hasn't. Like at the end of Queen of Shadows, I was like, cool, I like Nezrin, she's nice. Like she's like Katniss and I like her and yeah, and she's nice and I don't know, she's cool. And I'm like, well, if Kale's happy, I'm happy, I guess. I don't know. Then like at the beginning of this book, I was like, what the hell is going on between these two? I thought they were together. There's like no romance going on. I think maybe it's this yellow tab right here. Like the yellow tab is the scene between Kale and Nezrin, one romantic scene between them, and he like kisses her briefly and he's basically like, I felt nothing. And I was like, well, why are you with her then? I know he like promised to like give her adventure and everything, but they're not having adventures, so what's gonna happen? And I was really confused and I was like, what's going on? And then Irene showed up and I was like, okay, this is happening. Like, it's okay with me. I'm really good with this. I also loved, by the way, about Kale, about how we get this representation of him in his wheelchair. Like, we sense the way that he feels. I wanted him to succeed in a way so badly, and in the beginning of this book, he felt so bad about himself. Like, he basically hated himself because he was in this wheelchair, and not just because of the wheelchair, but of other things, of course. But one of the things was because of this wheelchair, and he like wanted to stand and fight and actually do stuff. But at the end of this book, he finally accepts himself and is like, honestly, if Irene and I are bound, and if I have to sit in a wheelchair every now and then, that doesn't change who I am, and I'm a better person because of this whole experience, basically. And I loved that. I loved that, by the way. Going into this book, I was like, wait a minute. What happened in Queen of Shadows? I don't remember. I don't remember. And so I went back and watched some reviews for it and understood and remembered a little bit more than I forgot. Like, cause they're talking about like at the beginning how like Dorian's castle got ransacked and he fled. And I was like, I don't remember that part. I know that he ends up with Aelin and Manon somehow, but I was like, I don't remember how that happened. I don't remember how he actually got with them. So that was hard. Still don't fully remember it at all. I will say it was really cool at the beginning of this book, us getting into this new continent, because we basically are starting from scratch, kind of like Era Fire, where we had no idea who these people were in this land and what they were capable of and what was going on. And I enjoy those kinds of books where we discover a new kind of land there and the new cultures. I loved it. I loved it, by the way. I really enjoyed learning about the people of Antica and the Torre Chesme. Like, who, I love those scenes going into the Torre Chesme, just by the way. I loved it. And the library. Ah, the library. And they had those cute cats. Bast cats, don't know how to pronounce that, but they're really cute, and they're basically like old lady cats who guard the library. And I thought that was really fitting, because I have to say most of us who do read and are on BookTube probably have a cat and love cats, and I thought that was just a great link together. Just a thought. I'm gonna get into certain characters, I guess. At the beginning of this book, we meet Kojin. Okay, it's either pronounced Kojin or Kajin. It's gonna be Kojin. No, it's Kajin. Kojin. I'm just gonna say Kojin. Who cares? Okay, so the Kojin and all of his children are around him on his throne, and we get like a brief history into the life of the Kojin. And right off the bat, when they said like one of the 6 siblings is missing, I was like, one of them's dead. One of them's just dead. Turned out I was right. Tumaloon was dead. I felt like I would really like Tumaloon if she was actually in this book. Duva had to kill her. Oh, Duva. I will say I did not see Duva being a Valg coming up. I don't know. I never suspect the pregnant people. I'm sorry. I never do. I never do. And like, her husband and her were so cute, and even if it was an arranged marriage, like, they had like feelings for each other. At least he showed feelings for each other. Honestly, in my opinion, at the end, when we found out that Duva was actually a Valg, I was like, so is this husband in love with the Valg inside of Duva? Like, has Duva at least shown presence sometimes? Because I don't think she would have, because if she would have been like screaming for her life, saying like, help me, and all this stuff. So this whole time they've been married, this husband of hers has been in love with a Valg demon. That's creepy. Yeah, and I was very relieved when we found out that the baby was human. Thank God, because that would be horrible to read about, a Valg baby. We did have that scene, I think, in Queen of Shadows, correct me if I'm wrong, where we have all those witches getting pregnant by Valg, and I was like, please don't let that happen again, but it didn't. It was fine. It's all good. It's all good. So we have the Kojin and all of his children, and I have to say my favorites would either be Sartak or Hasser. By the way, I loved Sartak and Nesrin's relationship. I enjoyed Nesrin's character, and like, I loved how we found out about her and her family and what she went through and what she's overcome. Sartak was just like a great balance for her, I guess. They both have that wildness about them, as well as they both love adventure and also have this big passion for protecting people in the same way. Oh, and by the way, when we have that scene where Sartak and Nesrin and Falcon and the Ruck are trying to find the little hatchlings, and the whole time they're talking about this hatchling, I'm just picturing a freaking baby bird from that Angry Birds movie. I'm sorry. They're too cute, and that's what I was picturing the entire time, and I was laughing myself. It was so funny. But anyway, I loved Nesrin and Sartak's relationship together. Yeah, they balance each other out, and it was weird at the end when, I don't know, I was really hoping for like this epic proposal scene, that he was gonna propose to her and like maybe ask her father for her hand in marriage, because he comes to her house, so I'm thinking like, is he gonna ask her father if he can marry her? Like, what's gonna happen? And no, he doesn't. He just pulls her aside and is basically like, hey, I'm the heir because I basically told my dad I want to marry you. And he was like, but she's a commoner. And he's like, well, if you won't let me become heir because she's a commoner, then I don't want to be heir at all. And then he claimed him to be heir, and I was like, what? Maybe he just picked him because he finally stood up for himself with his father. I have no idea. Basically, he tells her this, and I'm like, was that a proposal? Did he just propose to her? That was a lame proposal, dude. Like, freaking do something. I mean, K.O. literally got on his knees in front of Irene and proposed to her. I will say, with all of those scenes with fucking spiders, those spiders, I wanted to crawl inside my skin, like, just picturing like a million giant spiders chasing them. I wanted to stop reading. I cringed the entire time. I was like, I feel them crawling all over me. I will say, I was so surprised when we found out like the spiders are linked to the Vogue. I was like, okay, that's new. And then we found out that Maeve's a Vogue. Of course, she fucking is a Vogue. Of course, she's a Vogue. That bitch has to be a Vogue, now that I think about it. Like, when I read it, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, there's, what? And then, like, it took me a second, I was like, this is why everyone hates her. It's because she's a freaking demon. There is this part, like, right before he gets captured by that spider, where he basically, like, professes his love to Nezrin and is like, I loved you before I even met you. Just marry him already. But we better get the wedding scene. I need a wedding scene. At least one. Just one wedding scene, please. I need one in my life. Oh, and the other sibling that I really enjoyed reading about was Hosea. She was really funny. She kind of really reminded me of Aelin in a sense, and her and her lover were really cute to read about, and I love the scene where Irene finally stands up to Hosea and pushes her in a freaking pool, and Kale's like, why did you do that? You almost died just by pushing her friend into a pool. And I thought that was really funny. I didn't really care all that much about the Oregon guy. Didn't really care for him all that much. He was rude in my opinion, didn't like him. Plus he was cheating on his wife, even though in their land, attention from servants isn't considered cheating, I guess. That was weird. That was really weird. I was like, no, that's cheating. Also, as we're talking about cheating, I don't know, with the whole Nezrin, Kael, Irene situation, I normally hate characters who cheat on their significant others. I can't stand it, because I personally would never ever want that to happen to me, and I couldn't imagine it like happening to someone else. That's horrible. But this whole situation with Kael and Irene, it didn't really like seem all that much like cheating to me. Like when Nezrin leaves with Sartak, she sends him a note basically saying like, hey, I know you really care for her and I can tell that you care for her, so let bygones be bygones. You can be with her and then I can be with whoever I want to be with. That's what I interpreted that note to say, but I guess he didn't, and he was super guilty about it. And we get that glimpse into also how he felt when Aelin reappeared with Rowan on tow, and I don't know, that hurt him immensely, but at least like she waited to actually physically be with him until she like resolved things with Kael, and he didn't do that, and he felt so guilty about it that he like distanced himself even more from Irene. But then later that night, like professed their love to each other, and it was beautiful and I loved it. We do have a sex scene in here, just one, which I was kind of disappointed about. Like, I kind of liked Sarah's smut scenes. Like, I do. Like, sorry, not sorry. I like them. And so just to, like, have one, I was like, darn. Like, we kind of get the one in the bath or whatever, but, like, nothing happened really that we didn't read about. I think people were just complaining to Sarah so much that there was so much sex in this book series and, like, her later ACOTAR books that maybe she dialed it down because of that. I don't know why. I also didn't really care all that much about Cashin. Like, I didn't really care all that much about him. Like, at first I was like, F you, like, if Irene tells you no, it's a no. Like, you're not gonna sway her into being your wife because she wants to live a life where she's not fighting every single day of her life so that her child or children don't die because of his siblings. And I wouldn't want that either. I would want to live a happy life with my children. And I think that's another reason why I'm so happy with these pairings, is because, well, Irene gets with Chaol. She doesn't have to worry about all the Kojin, like, murders, but then Nezrin gets with the actual heir, and she doesn't have to worry about all that stuff. Like she doesn't have to worry about that. So in this book, I got really, really frustrated with how the Kojin kept refusing to meet with Chaol. I know he's grieving about Tumaloon's death and trying to comfort his wife, but still, if there's a war coming up, I think you should meet with a guy who has faced that war and faced the people in the war that are actual demons. But then at the end, he finally is like, you know what, you saved my daughter's life. I'm for ya. I'm with whatever. So I was really happy about that. We finally have all those troops to come in. Throughout this book, we also get glimpses into Aelin and Dorian and all those people's lives during Empire of Storms, because this is going on during Empire of Storms. The ending, kind of, like part of the end where I think Hosea is telling Irene and Chaol about Aelin and Maeve and how Aelin defeated Maeve and Maeve went basically back home and nothing ever happened to her, and Aelin's safe and has all of these armies with her, and I'm like, that's not true, honey. That's not true. And I was almost crying because I totally forgot that Aelin's enslaved, and then we get that Fireheart chapter at the end where I was like dying. I was like, no, I totally forgot. We have to go into this next book. Like, it's the final book, right? I think, correct me if I'm wrong. We have to go into this final book with Aelin being enslaved, and it's like Dorian all over again with the Vogue in him, where I was just like, so sad the entire time. I was like, just save him already. I want that to happen to Aelin, but I don't want her to turn bad either. Like, I have a sense that Maeve's gonna hurt her so bad that she might break, but she is really strong, so I don't know what's gonna happen, and I just want Rowan to fly to find her and rescue her, and they can live happily ever after and have millions of babies, and they can be immortal together. Well, she has to find a way to become immortal, because I don't know if she can be immortal. I know he's immortal. I don't know if she can be immortal. But let's just say I want Maeve to die. I want Maeve to die. Please let Maeve die. Please. But yeah, that's what I hope happens in the next book. I'm just waiting for all of these characters to finally come together, and I love the end where Chaol reads that slip of paper from Irene and is like, oh, I have to tell you a story, girl. I have to tell you about who freaking saved your life. I was waiting the entire time right at the beginning of the book where she talked about that little slip of paper and the woman who saved her. I was like, Chaol has to soon put 2 and 2 together. Like, come on, he has to, and tell her about who saved her. I loved that because it also made Chaol see Aelin differently in a sense, like kind of boosts his positive thinking about her in a way. I don't know, I'm looking forward to them all meeting, and I can't wait to see all my other Throne of Glass babies like Manon and Alid and Rowan. I need my Rowan. That's all I can talk about now. There's too many thoughts going in my brain. I literally finished this book 20 minutes ago, maybe. So if y'all have any questions about any of my other thoughts of this book, please just ask me down below. I would love to answer them, because that might get my brain thinking more about how I felt even more about this book, and I love thinking more about Sarah J Maas books, and I need the next one right now. Yes. You have to wait a whole year. Yes. Yay. But anyway, yeah, let me know down below also what your favorite part was. I think my favorite part was probably the scene where Chaol walks and him and Irene have their first kiss, because I really, really loved that scene. We get a sense of Chaol overcoming something, and then Irene and Chaol finally coming together, and yeah, because I really loved them together, if you didn't already know. So yeah, also let me know down below what your favorite couple was in this book, because I got to know. So yes. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all soon with a new video. Bye.